Hello, my name is McKenna. If you don't know me, I'm known for making stupid content and talking about whatever I like to talk about. And today's topic is the Digital Circus and Funky Frog. And if you don't know who either of these people are, don't worry. I'm here to hold your hand when I tell you this information because we both know that this is going to be a very, very bumpy ride. Anyway, so but what is the Digital Circus? What is it? Who made it? And what is it about? And why does it connect back to Funky Frog? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. The Amazing Digital Circus is a independent project created by Gooseworks. Now, Gooseworks, I believe, goes by they, them. If I'm wrong, I am severely fucking sorry. I am severely sorry. And everything I've watched, they have referred to them as they, them. And if I slip up, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It is my bad. I ain't fucking around. But if it slips, I am so sorry. And I'll personally beat the shit out of myself for it every single fucking day. Anyway, and also, if anything, I just might call them Gooseworks, so I don't have to make the mistake. I'm so sorry. So Gooseworks had made it, and Digital Circus had came out in October 13th of 2023, I believe, from my resources and what I've found. And the premise of the Digital Circus is that it's a bunch of cartoon characters stuck in what perceives to be some type of device of they're stuck in a computer, but they're stuck in this weird world where they go on adventures, and this character Kane rules it, and it's a whole bunch. It is a really interesting show, but it sadly is connected with a lot of drama, which is really sad because the Digital Circus was known for not having that much drama. I'm sorry if there's background noise. When it originally came out, it was actually really good, and compared to stuff like Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel, it was really clean. It was really good for its entire fucking run until shit hit the fan. So when I mean shit hit the fan, in 2019, a voice actor who voices a character Jax in the Digital Circus people had found clips from 2019, like I said, and brought them to light right before the show was ending, mind you. I think when the 7th or 8th episode had come out, and it was I'll just play the clip. This is the clip.
I love nega versus ooh.
And context of that clip is someone had put a name in there that was, if you said it out loud, you were gonna mess it up. It was one of those yeah, no, you shouldn't be saying that. And in my opinion, if it looks like a word that you know you're gonna mess up and say something else, don't say it, especially on stream, on live. But anyway, that had happened, and he was basically making fun of someone for who said it wrong. But also it's my guy, you're getting a little too comfortable with saying that. And also a clip had come out of them using the N-word as a joke on a t-shirt, which the laughter is insane. Wow, that was real funny, guys. Real knee slapper, if you know what I mean. But that had all come out. And it wasn't just Jax, it was another. I think it was the one who plays Zubul. I do not know for sure. I just know it was another creator, or another voice actor, I mean. And when that information had came out, it was really disheartening because a lot of people were like, damn, we were close to not getting any drama in the Digital Circus, and here we are. So that had happened, and the voice actor had apologized for it, I believe. People in the situation apologized, which is really good, because I'm sorry, when you have an audience and people look up to you and follow you, regardless of how old the stuff is, you should have never been saying it in the first place, because that is a really disheartening thing. Yeah, I know sometimes we mess with our friends, but this was on a live stream where people could see you doing that, and people you do not know. Yes, these are your fans, but let's remind ourselves that fans are not the people who have seen me do crazy shit in my prime, in my childhood either. Let's just remember that. But yeah, and it had come out, and they apologized for it. And in my opinion, like I said, it's why are you saying that in the first place? Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that, my friend? But yeah, that stuff had came out, and Gooseworks themselves had talked about it too, and said that they didn't like that, I guess, too, when it came out, which we'll get into that. So put a pin in that for when Gooseworks responded to all that stuff. And that's just one of the scandals that the Digital Circus has been in. There's many, and I'm gonna talk about them, don't worry. One of them is the shipping wars that would go on inside of it, which isn't really a problem. It just a fandom has that type of group in it where they're constantly like, no, I want this character to end up with this person. I want them to do this. I want them to do that. I want to see how the story ends. I want to see if they're getting out of this damn place or not. I'm trying to figure out the context clues and trying to and be like Bill Cipher up in this bitch. You know? I'm trying to be Dipper Pines up in this mofo. But yeah, that kind of that it's not really a scandal, but it's more of a thing that kind of made the digital circus. It's like, oh yeah, it's one of those kind of fandoms. Which not to be mean, but it is one of those fandoms. In my opinion. But also another thing that came out, and this is also during the time when the show was this close to fucking ending, was shit that the creator themselves, Goosework, had said, which they were incest and racist jokes. This close, remember, we were this close to finishing off with no problems. And it'd come out. If I can find them, they will be on the screen right now, some of the things they said. Now, I haven't read them word for word, so do not quote me on this shit. I don't know if it is offensive. Obviously, a lot of people found it offensive to the point where they had to call it out and call it the behavior. But I do remember one where she says something in a tweet, and then she puts at the end of it, I'm a racist. Now, I don't know if this is just Twitter and how Twitter acts, but where the fuck would you put that? Genuine question, why would you put that? Because, last time I checked, being a racist is not exactly something I'm laughing about constantly. I'm not pulling out my golfing laugh when I hear that. I'm just saying. But yeah, all that stuff had come out around the time the show was ending from what I've seen, because also, not to call myself out, but I was an avid fan of Digital Circus. I'm an avid fan of watching them. I'm sorry. I am one of those people. I know. But also, I watch anime and I go to musicals, so what kind of person did you think I was? I'm a choir kid. I'm a choir and theater kid. What type of person did you think I was? I just pretend to look like a basic white girl. The fact is, I'm Mexican. Anyway, but, what does this all have to do with Funky Frog? What does these allegations, what do these, streams and, all of this stuff have to do with Funky Frog? Well, I'm going to tell you, dear friend, what it has to do with Funky Frog. And I'm going to also tell you who Funky Frog is too. Now, I believe Funky Frog also goes by they, them. I do not know this for sure. I see it though everywhere. I believe they go by it. If I am wrong, I am so sorry. It is my bad. I am very, 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 very sorry. If I catch myself halfway through and I realize that I made a mistake, I will call it out. It's all my bad. My terrible, terrible terminals. But what I've seen is that they are called they, them. So who is Funky Frog? Who are they? Well, Funky Frog is a content creator on YouTube who also makes content. That's kind of what I do a little bit, where it's like they call it things, they talk about it, they call it why it's bad or why it's good or why it's kind of weird and a little crazy why you would kind of do shit like that. Like they've called out family vloggers, they've called out companies that kind of like are weird when it comes to, oh, it's June, LGBT, and then after June's over, they immediately hide it all down again with 4th of July shit, because America. So, and also they also did one where it was calling out like how, I guess, the Antichrist was coming back or something, or like the end of days. I don't know. I don't know. But they are really known for that a lot, and they also are known for like their comedy and kind of their jokes they make on their channel, and they kind of make it, if they kind of do what I do a little bit, where it's like I make jokes, but I also talk about subjects that are like serious, because what the fuck, and you gotta have a little humor into it. We can't be all depressing all the time. We're only depressing on Tuesday. But anyway, so how does Funky Frog and the Digital Circus connect? Well, I'm gonna tell you. So sit down. So who is Funky Frog? Well, they are a content creator who kind of calls out controversies and things that they like to talk about, kind of like what I do, but they add a little bit of comedy into it. You may have heard their audio on TikTok about feminism and women and all. It's a really good audio. You had to have heard it. It's so good. But basically, they kind of, make calling out videos, and they are also a really big advocate for doing your research, as anyone should, and looking into things. They themselves have called themselves out on when they don't do their proper research. The reason Funky Frog is connected to this is because they were doing a stream, a gaming stream, and I'm gonna get into it in the video, but basically some people were heckling Funky Frog in the comments, talking about Gooseworks, talking about the entire Digital Circus, and they talk about how they didn't really care for it, but they were like, it's someone's, it's a type of media and it's a type of animation that deserves to not be torn up like that. And they apparently had only seen one video actually talking about it, which is like, that's not enough research. And I say, do you research? But I mean, I'd hope you'd mean a little more than that. So anyway, that had happened, and a whole, I'm gonna put it up here. I'll let you watch it.
Because you have the basic ethical requirement to just make sure something insane and awful that you're saying about a person is true before you start spreading that shit. So you are just as bad as the person who made that up if you just spread it without verifying it.
So, yeah, they basically get told that, Gooseworks is kind of a racist. And they proceed to go, nah. Which is like, ooh, maybe we want to do a little research. Maybe just a smidge, a little. So, that obviously created a really big problem for people who liked Funky Frog, and yeah. And it had gone on, it felt like at least a good couple of weeks that Funky Frog didn't say anything about the problem. They kind of just let it be there. Until recently, they came out with I believe it's only on their TikTok. It might be on their YouTube Shorts. I do not know. Where they came out with what people would acute to like an apology video. Or what they would say is it is more of a statement on the issue, and they're not going to talk about it again. But I have my trusty tablet here, and we are going to watch their apology. So now we're going to react to the video. I have the tablet right here, and we're going to react to what Funky Frog has to say about their statement. Let's get into it.
To address a negative reaction to something I have said, it has immediately resulted in far worse backlash. I am in every single possible way incentivized to do nothing right now. Everything about this statement will be scrutinized and insulted, from my tone of voice, the fact I'm reading from something I wrote beforehand, the way I look, my choice of wording, even the length of the video itself. I've been on the internet for a long time. I know how this works.
Well, no shit, you're gonna be scrutinized. I mean, you're a well-known YouTuber, and when you say something kind of fucked up, and you sound like you're supporting someone who has said stuff that's fucked up without doing any research, of course you're gonna look like a fucking asshole. There is no denying that. There is no questioning that. And yeah, you will be scrutinized. Because, it's like, last time I checked, I haven't heard any apology yet. Which is a statement. I know it's not technically an apology, but it's like, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Thousands of people calling you a racist that really cannot go unacknowledged. I'm not going to cry on camera or bring out a ukulele. If you still think I'm a racist after watching this video, it is not my place to tell you otherwise. I'm just going to tell you exactly what happened and address the accusations against me. After this, I will continue to upload my content as usual because I will have nothing more to say about this.
So, addressing the fact that people think you're a racist, because like I said, you supported someone who has said racist things. And when you sit there and you don't address the problem, people are going to think you support what that person did. Especially when you come off the way you did in that video. Now, saying that this is the last time they'll talk about it, I don't think so. I'm shooting while it's still in the air. I think someone's definitely something's gonna happen and they're gonna make a whole nother video. I feel like that may happen, but also they might stick with their word and say this is the last time they'll talk about it. But also, they're going to talk about the whole stream thing, and I've kind of already talked about that, so I'm going to skip over that and get to another bit. So you'll see what I get to, and I'll tell you what it's going to be referencing. So the bits I skipped over were that that they make a good point of saying that, that people love to see stuff made by people, but then proceed to shit on the creators, which is fair, but they only shit on them when they kind of fucking deserve to be shit on a little bit. I mean, come on. Now, some don't. Some make actually really good content and they shit on for no reason, but then there's some that it's like, some shit came up and it doesn't look too goddamn pretty. But, yeah, but also, what did they say also? So, they also go on to talk about, too, that they didn't do research until after the fact, and then that they found stuff that they did not agree with after making that claim. Which, it's so annoying that it takes less than 10 minutes to go to Google, go somewhere, look up a video, and find out what happened. We are not in an age where you have to go and get a textbook and look through papers. It is literally 2 minutes to type something into the damn search bar. But as human beings, I guess that's difficult for us to do sometimes. Anyway, but I'm just gonna skip around too, also because I've seen this video too many times to count.
In the future. In the moment while streaming, based on the information I had, I shut down the chatters who were making these accusations. I assumed this was just more extreme behavior stemming from the episode leak. I am sorry for how aggressive this response was.
So they do say, they apologize for how aggressive they were, and stuff like that, which is, I guess, point for Funky Frog, I guess. I mean, they said, I'm sorry. But I don't think that's why people are mad at you. They're mad that you immediately hopped on defending this person when you didn't even know if the allegations were true or not, and you are someone who openly tells people and, advocates for people to do research. I think that's what people are more upset about. And, what else? And I guess, I don't know, but I guess there was a bunch of other factors that also caused them to kind of say that stuff. But like I said, that's not why people were mad at you, I think.
Response was, it made me very upset because it touched on something that had been weighing on me for a while. That harassment campaigns online under the guise of accountability.
So I don't think they actually meant that apology, now that I'm saying that, because now it sounds like they're defending themselves for having that reaction. Because it's like, okay, this isn't why people are mad at you, Funky Frog. People are mad at you, most likely, and I'm mad at you for not doing your damn research, like I've said 20,000 times. It's like, come on! You're a damn commentary channel. You're supposed to do your damn research, I'd hope.
Of accountability have gotten out of control. That these harassment campaigns often spread misinformation. That the purpose of these call-outs or cancellations or...
These aren't rumors. These aren't allegations. There's evidence to prove that Gooseworks said things. And yeah, they can be seen as little jokes and little haha moments, but in reality, you're not saying this in a private setting. You're saying this in a public setting where people who look up to you are following you and they see this stuff. You get what I'm saying? And you can't compare this to that, This isn't like someone saying, they so-and-so did this with no actual evidence. There is evidence, and there has been said evidence shown. You just didn't do the research, and when people called you out for that, you got offensive.
Often not effective at actually preventing harm, but it is very effective at finding a righteous justification for doing harm to someone else. The irony was that only a few hours later, videos accusing me of being a racist were getting thousands of likes. If you, after hearing the facts about what happened, choose to still believe that I am a racist, that makes me...
So, it feels now that they've talked about what happened in the situation and put down what they've said. I feel now they're trying to deflect from the situation of that, honey, the reason people are mad at you is because you fucking didn't do any research. And yes, they're calling you a racist because in that moment, you looked like a fucking racist. You didn't look like someone who advocates for women's rights. You didn't look like someone who advocates for the LGBT community. You looked like someone who was fucking playing face and your fucking true colors slipped. That's what the fuck it looked like. And you didn't immediately think after, and you've seen these videos, you said in less than a couple hours, things started coming out. In that moment, you should have gone and said something. A little video, a little tweet would have done anything to stop people a little bit. And that could have stopped it for a minute. That could have put something out and you could have said, hey, I'm going to make a bigger topic about this, but let me please get my, like, you could have done anything. And I understand maybe it was a little overwhelming. Maybe something was going on. Maybe you wanted to do it right. Still, there were ways to stop this shit from spreading a little bit. Maybe I'm just a stupid teenager who doesn't know how the goddamn media works. But shit, if I saw that shit going on and people were calling me a racist, I damn near hop on something and go, wait!
Choose to still believe that I am a racist, that makes me horribly sad. But I can't do anything about it. If you believe, as many people have stated, that I'm just another fake white queer that likes to live out rather than meaningfully critique the evils of white supremacy and capitalism, I disagree with you. But I accept that I can't change your mind. What I refuse to accept is the people filling my comment sections so obviously delighted to prove that I have been secretly bigoted and...
No, I don't believe those statements that people... Well, I don't stand by those statements that people think that they have always been some type of secretly against, some side. I don't think that. I do think, though, that they made a really shit decision, and this video does not help them in the slightest. If anything, it makes them look more guilty of not talking about the issue, but instead showing, saving face and, saying, this isn't my fault. Because that's what it's given, honey. It's given it's not my fault. Oh, sorry, stop that.
The glee with which they finally feel justified to say extremely cruel things about me as a person. I refuse to accept people dropping isolated claims that I am racist on several social media platforms, completely separated from the context of the original video, likely leading many of my followers to believe that if they are not white, I do not value or advocate for them, which is not true.
The people who are, separating the fact that the situation, that you're gonna find people like that. And I don't really have anything to say about those people. You're gonna meet those kind of people, especially when you're a content creator, and especially when drama hits the fan, because then, hey, as soon as someone gets accused of being racist, they're gonna start accusing a bunch of other fucking things. It just gives them a fucking light to smash. But, that's besides from the point.
This behavior is disgusting. Exactly what I was addressing on.
But also, it still feels like you're not talking about the subject of why you're actually being called out right now. It feels that it's like, well, look what other people are doing to me. Hun, we're not talking about you. We're talking about what you said on the damn internet. And what you said on a stream, which why... Time out. Why is it always a stream involved? You guys do understand those things are live. Those can't be edited and it just be your fault still. You said that openly on the internet. It's not like, oh, someone edited me to sound like that. No, honey, that was live. Honey, that was live and people heard you loud and clear what you said. Why? Why is it always a live stream where people get caught doing the craziest shits?
And I do not accept it as valid criticism. This is the only statement that I will be making about this. If you want to continue to express how much you dislike me, that's fine. All I can ask is that you try to do so responsibly. Leave your opinions under this video or the video where the incident actually occurred so that people have the full context of the situation. Cite your sources. Use my actual words. If you are right and I am secretly a terrible person, this basic level of honesty should not weaken your position at all. I would also ask that you perhaps engage with me the same way I engage with all of you. The things I say are said in my voice with my face attached to it. I don't think it's unfair to ask for the same level of vulnerability. This may be entertaining drama for you, but it is not to me. I cannot prove to you that I'm a good person. I can only continue to make content about weird topics I find interesting, raise awareness, and donate to help communities that need it, and try to make people laugh, because that's the whole reason I started doing it.
So, what is my takeaway from this entire video? I feel it was, and I said this before too, I feel it was completely just a save face. This video does not, correct them and, showing that, hey, this is my fault and I should have done my fucking research. That's my bad. It doesn't explain that. It doesn't do any of that for me. And as someone who generally liked watching them, it really upsets me to see them do this. And I'm doing what they said. I'm using my real voice and I'm calling out the kind of behavior that I'm seeing from it. And you know what I think about it? I think it's, yeah, you're saving fucking face. You're not actually addressing the goddamn problem why people didn't like what you had to say. Because you know what I found a problem with that video and that stream and what I saw? I saw someone who advocates for doing research, looking into things, not immediately taking things at face value. And you want to know what you did, Funky? You immediately took that and fucking completely threw it out the window. You took the stuff that you advocate for and chucked it. You didn't look into anything. You didn't do your fucking research. You didn't do anything. You did it after the fact. What you should have done, and if I was them, I would have gone online, looked it up, looked up a couple videos and gone, oh shit, yeah, you guys are right. Instead of watching one video beforehand about it. You do not know the whole story from one video. You also don't know the entire story you have for 1,000 videos. People will never know the exact truth about why things happen because, I'm sorry, we can't stick our hands inside people's brains and pull out what they're thinking. Sadly, that's not how the real world works. What do I have to take away from the Digital Circus and what do I have to take away from Funky Frog? What do I have to take away from both these situations? Well, sadly, the shit we enjoy is always going to have something connected back to it. Because humans are not righteously good, and we're not righteously bad. We make a lot of stupid fucking decisions. But the thing is, as humans, we have the right to either decide to look at ourselves and realize we made those fucked up mistakes. We 100% made them fuck ups. That is our bad, and that is our responsibility to take accountability for it. The thing is, though, Gooseworks and Funky Frog did not do that. Gooseworks does not give a shit that they are losing their account. Or, that their shit has been lost and shit's got leaked. It seems like they don't give a fuck. And Funky Frog doesn't seem like they give a fuck that they completely threw out the entire one of their biggest advocates. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. The shit's not clocking. The shit ain't working. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not trying to tell you how to feel about these two people. If you like the Digital Circus and you like Funky Frog, continue to watch them. I generally think they are really good people. They just made a lot of really fucked up mistakes, except for the incest and racist jokes. I didn't care for that much. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. Hope this video can actually look decent. And if it is cut up, it's because I made a lot of mistakes pronouncing their pronouns. That is my bad. I'm deeply sorry for that. But I caught myself and I tried to fix it, and I'm going to try and get it to where I'm saying the correct pronouns. If I slip up, I am so sorry, and I will put accountability for that right now. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully I can get this out beforehand, and yeah, and I hope you like my video. I hope you watch more and you like this and stuff. And if you're from my school, I don't know where you were watching this. But yeah, if you're from my school, hi David. I don't know if you're watching this, but I hope you liked it. Let me know if you saw it or not. Anyway, hope you all have a good weekend, have a good rest of your day. If this is when you're watching, depending on when you're watching this, I hope you're having a good day. If you were just waking up, good morning. If you're just going to bed, good night. If you gotta stay up and do an all-nighter, rewatch this video about 20,000 times so I can get more views. Cause I'd like to. Cause I like to think I'm not making these videos just for my entertainment, which I know I do for myself. But anyway, everyone, have a good time. Make sure to do your research and don't be a fucking idiot. Goodbye.